Hi everyone, welcome back to Active USA Ride Waves, where we ride, review, and reveal everything on two wheels. Today, we're diving deep into a modern legend and icon reimagined as the 2025 Royal Enfield Classic 350. It's a motorcycle that takes you back in time while keeping you very much planted in the present. We're talking vintage vibes, modern muscle, and that unmistakable Royal Enfield charm. So, grab your helmet, strap in, and let's ride into what makes this machine an irresistible buy in 2025. Alright, before we jump into the nuts and bolts, let's get this out of the way. The 2025 Classic 350 starts at around $4,799 here in the States. That's right. For under $5,000, you get a brand new motorcycle dripping in retro style, backed by one of the oldest motorcycle brands in the world. Not bad, right? Now, if you're familiar with Royal Enfield, you already know the Classic 350 isn't a new name. This model has been the soul of Enfield's lineup for years, especially popular in markets like India and the UK. But in 2025, the Classic 350 has seen refinements that make it more appealing than ever to the US rider. Royal Enfield has carefully taken that nostalgic, post-war military design and wrapped it around a modern chassis and powertrain. Let's start with that design. Because let's face it, that's probably why you're here. The Classic 350 is a rolling piece of art. It pays tribute to the post-WEI motorcycles, particularly the G2 model Bullet. From the teardrop tank with signature hand-painted pinstripes, to the single-piece saddle seat, vintage-style fenders, and retro round headlamp at a spike oozes character. And those metal accents? Not faux plastic pretending to be chrome. We're talking legit polished metal, which adds to its old-school authenticity. Color options? Oh yeah. The 2025 model comes in a range of beautifully curated schemes from stealth black to chrome bronze, signals marsh gray, halcyon green, and dark gunmetal gray. Whether you want subtle menace or classic throwback, there's a palette for your vibe. Now let's get into what's under that timeless skin. The 2025 Classic 350 is powered by a 349cc, single-cylinder, air-oil-cooled engine. This is the same engine architecture that powers the Meteor 350, and that's a good thing. It's smooth, reliable, and surprisingly refined. Don't let the modest displacement fool you. This motor delivers 20.2 horsepower at 6,100 revolutions per minute and 19.9 pounds-feet of torque at 4,000 revolutions per minute. It's not a speed demon, but that's not the point. This bike isn't built for track days. It's built for cruising, relaxing, and savoring the ride. Think winding scenic routes, weekend rides, and city cruising with a side of retro cool. What makes the 2025 model really stand out though is the level of refinement. Royal Enfield has clearly taken lessons from global feedback. The engine is counterbalanced, which kills most of the vibrations that plagued older Enfields. You now get a buttery smooth ride even at 65 miles per hour. The fueling has been tuned for better throttle response, especially at low revs, making city riding more enjoyable than ever. Pair that engine with a new J-Series frame double cradle chassis and you've got a motorcycle that handles way better than any Classic 350 before it. It's stable at speed, planted in corners, and just feels solid overall. It's got that old school silhouette, but the ride quality feels thoroughly modern. Suspension comes courtesy of 41mm telescopic forks up front and twin gas-charged shocks at the rear with 6-step preload adjustability. The ride is plush, soaking up road imperfections like a champ. Whether you're gliding over potholes or cruising down rough tarmac, the suspension setup keeps things comfortable without turning the bike into a wallowy mess. Braking has also seen an upgrade. You now get a 300mm front disc and a 270mm rear disc, paired with dual-channel ABS. The braking performance is more than enough for the bike's weight and power, offering good feedback and confidence-inspiring control. And speaking of weight, it tips the scales at around 430 pounds wet, which is relatively light compared to cruisers but hefty enough to feel planted and sure-footed. Now let's talk ergonomics, because this is one of the Classic 350's biggest strengths. The riding triangle is near perfect for relaxed touring. The bars are wide and slightly swept back. The foot pegs are forward set but not excessively so. You sit upright, regal almost, like a commander surveying the road ahead. The seat is low at 31.7 inches, making it super approachable for shorter riders, and it helps build confidence at stoplights or in traffic. Another win? The seat. This solo saddle is honestly one of the most comfortable in its class. Thick padding, a supportive shape, and that vintage spring beneath it actually help absorb some shocks. You can get an optional pillion seat, but the bike really shines as a solo cruiser. There's something about that stripped-down setup that makes you feel connected to the bike, to the road, and to every single rev. Let's jump to instrumentation and tech, because yes, the Classic 350 now has some modern tricks. You get a semi-digital cluster. A large analog speedometer sits front and center, surrounded by a small LCD for gear position, fuel gauge, trip meters, clock, and more. It's minimal, functional, and doesn't ruin the retro feel. If you opt for the Chrome or Signals editions, you also get the Tripper Navigation Pod, Royal Enfield's proprietary turn-by-turn nav system powered by Google Maps via your smartphone. It's subtle, it's smart, and it integrates seamlessly without making the bike look like a gadget show. Now let's address the sound. Because yes, that thump is still there. The Classic 350 may not roar like a big twin, but it's got a soulful, mellow thump that's unmistakably Enfield. That signature exhaust note is more refined now, but still emotional. Still very much a part of the experience. It's a sound you fall in love with. Fuel economy? This bike sips gas like an old man sipping whiskey. Expect upwards of 80–90 miles per gallon. With a 3.4-gallon tank, you're looking at well over 250 miles of range on a single fill-up. Weekend warriors and urban commuters alike will love the low running costs. Now, who's this bike for? That's the beautiful part. It's for the nostalgic rider who wants classic style without vintage bike headaches. It's for the beginner who doesn't want a plastic sport bike. It's for the experienced rider who's already got a fast bike and wants something relaxing and cool to ride to the cafe till copyright on a Sunday. And with a starting price of just $4,799, the value proposition is off the charts. You can customize it with official Royal Enfield accessories to windscreens, crash bars, saddlebags, bar and mirror, so you name it. Make it yours. Another thing I've gotta point out is how much attention this bike gets. You roll up on a Classic 350 and people take notice. Doesn't matter if they ride or not. People look. Some will ask you what year it is. Others will assume it's a 1960s restoration. Then they find out it's a 2025 model and their jaw hits the pavement. That's the effect of good design. And don't let the vintage look fool you. The build quality has come a long way. The paintwork, the fit and finish, the switchgear, everything feels more solid now. Royal Enfield has clearly invested in upping their game for the global market, and it shows. Let's talk competition for a second. You've got bikes like the Honda Rebel 300, Yamaha V-Star 250, maybe even the Suzuki TU250X in the same ballpark. But none of them deliver the same mix of heritage, presence, and simplicity. They're all great bikes in their own way, but none of them look like a time machine while performing like a modern roadster. That's the Classic 350's magic trick. Let me tell you about the test ride experience. I took the 2025 Classic 350 out through some SoCal back roads, so wide sweeping curves, a bit of highway, and some gritty city traffic. First impressions? The throttle is so easy to modulate. It's not snatchy, not overly responsive, yet just smooth. Shifting through the 5-speed gearbox is clean and crisp. The clutch pull is light, perfect for stop-and-go riding. Out on the open road, this bike settles into a nice 55-60 miles per hour cruise, with minimal vibration and maximum smiles. You feel every bit like you're riding a classic machine, but without worrying about carburetors, kickstarters, or oil leaks. It's the kind of bike that makes you want to take the long way home. It's not about speed. It's about style. It's about soul. It's about the joy of riding for the sake of riding. And that's something we talk about a lot on this channel: motorcycles that feel good. Not just perform, not just look good, but feel good. And the Classic 350? It checks that box every time. If you're thinking about getting your first motorcycle in 2025, this should be on your radar. It's manageable, forgiving, and just a ton of fun. If you're a seasoned rider looking for something different, something that makes you slow down and enjoy the ride, the Classic 350 is calling your name. Look, the motorcycle industry is shifting. We're seeing a lot of high-tech bikes, a lot of performance numbers, a lot of overcomplication. The Classic 350 is a reminder of what made us fall in love with motorcycles in the first place. The wind, the sound, the connection. It's refreshingly analog in a digital world. And if you're into customization or cafe builds, this is a perfect platform. Strip it down, build it up, or leave it stock. It looks good any way you slice it. So, final thoughts? The 2025 Royal Enfield Classic 350 is a bike that bridges generations. It honors the past while embracing the present. It's honest, it's soulful, and it's surprisingly refined. For under $5,000, it might just be the best retro modern motorcycle deal of the year. If you've made it this far, thanks for riding along with me today. Drop your thoughts in the comments. So what do you think of the 2025 Classic 350? Is it on your wish list? Do you already ride one? Share your stories, I'd love to hear them. Make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next review. We've got more rides, more gear, and more two-wheeled adventures coming your way. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and as always keep the rubber side down. Catch you on the next wave, riders. Peace.